Hello my beautiful friends, and welcome back to our channel and another video in the Perfectionism Deprogramming series. Today we're talking about some more antidotes to perfectionism, and as I've told you in other videos, I want you to treat this more like a smorgasbord of different options for ways to think as you deprogram your perfectionistic thinking and reinstall a different style of thinking that is going to serve you more, make you more productive and make you enjoy life more than what you currently are now. In today's video, I want to offer you an experiment to find out what's impacting your productivity as a perfectionist. To do this, like any good scientist, we need to narrow down variables. We need to isolate as many variables as we can so we can extract data in a way that is meaningful. When we have too many moving pieces at once and we just want to fix or change everything at once, it makes it difficult to know what is working and what's not working. So this thought experiment today is going to help you get to the bottom of what's getting in the way of your productivity, or rather you'll find it will just open a door to all the different things, all the different options that you can take on to improve your productivity. So I hope you enjoy this one. I hope you try on this experiment in your own life. It's the only way you're actually gonna make any changes, right? So you can get some more data for yourself and actually start to make changes in your own life. So I've mentioned one of the core problems of perfectionism is this never enough and poorly defined good enough. And that comes out when we're labeling ourselves and when we're labeling our work and what we do in the world. When you play out this never enough thought and belief system, all the thoughts that come with that, we see them play out in your emotions and behaviors in a way that has you end up procrastinating and hiding and anything in between from doing the work that you want to do and I think you're meant to do in the world. There's a lot to say about this not enough thinking, and I'm not going to go into that in the video today. The bottom line is that it's not productive, and I want to find out how specifically it's affecting you. So I'm going to show you how to collect some meaningful data on your productivity as a perfectionist. Then you can pick out from this experiment and your findings what's the first thing you want to work on. The good thing about this is we're no longer just taking stabs in the dark. If we collect the data first and we see what are high yield areas to work on, then all of our efforts thereafter will yield results for us personally. So here's the experiment I want to run. We are going to create a start-stop container for a task that you would like to be productive in. Step 1, define the desired outcome in that time period. So for example, have a finished cover letter. Now I want you to keep this task confined to sort of one step, not a whole project in itself, not a multi-step project. I want the task in itself to be crystal clear such that there are no new decisions that you need to make in a big way along the way. No sitting and pondering and wondering and imagining during the task, but instead one task that you can just follow through and work on. I want you to choose a task that requires some direct focus, because applying and directing that focus is part of the skills that we're building in this process. Step 2, set a time limit. For example, 1 hour. Now I want you to be as realistic as possible here. I don't want you to pick a time limit that seems like it is far beyond your capabilities, far beyond what's possible and setting you up to fail. Nor do I want a time limit that is way too comfortable such that you are able to let your focus drift during the time. When you set a nice challenging time limit like this, we also get to use or extract data from this experiment about how well you can focus. If you set a time limit that does require you to focus throughout that time, then we'll have the opportunity to see here when our lack of focus was one of the variables that let us down. Now, part of the data that you'll be gathering over doing this experiment over and over and over again is what is realistic or reasonable for a time limit to set for your different tasks otherwise throughout the week. But remember, this is just a starting experiment. We have to start somewhere. So just pick a time. Don't overthink it. Don't worry if it was well off what was required for you. We are just collecting data. Part of the skills that you will develop from this too is not only the ability to estimate how much time that you will need, but also learning how to get the task done in that time. Learning where and how you can accelerate and where you can save time otherwise. You'll probably have to learn how to plan and prioritize better, even within that hour here. Step number 3, start when the clock says start and stop when the clock says stop. So I prefer for you to put this on your calendar. So not just for it to be a stopwatch thing, but for you to plan ahead of time when you're going to do this task and have that challenge in the big picture of your life for when it's say 10 a.m. and you decided to start, no matter what else is happening in the world, you follow through with that decision made by your prior self, your present self right now, to start. You honor that decision. And then, and this is a really tricky thing for perfectionists too, when it comes to 11 a.m., when you said you were going to stop, do you actually stop? And that brings me to my next point, our final step, step 4. Observe and document. The most important data that you're going to get out of these experiments is the information on what got in the way. In what ways did you not follow through with what you said you were going to do? So what that data looks like is any time that you have the urge to do something else other than what you plan to do in that hour, whether it's another distraction on your computer, checking your emails, a friend messages you, so on. Whether it's the urge to get up out of your chair because you need a drink or this or that or the other. Any and every time you have an urge to do something else, I want you to document that urge. Whether it's what's going on emotionally in your body, what you're feeling, what that urge feels like, and hopefully you'll be able to find the thought, whatever you're thinking, the reasoning that you're giving, oh, but I'm thirsty, but I haven't drank in the last 3 hours, or but my friend hates it when I don't reply straight away. Whatever the reasoning is, I want you to just document it, put it to the side, and continue what you are doing. Continue that challenge. Just like when you're meditating and your mind drifts, the work is coming back to that focused attention. And that's the same here too. The most important data that we're getting here, the way that we're going to find out what is high yield for you to work on, is what comes up with those urges, what's taking you away from what you've decided ahead of time to do. In that documentation, you're going to end up with a list of thoughts, emotions, and even behaviors that are high yield for you to work on, that are things that are getting in the way of you doing what you plan to do. Because so long as you plan well, the most effective thing and one of the most powerful skills that you can have, one of the most powerful things that you can do is to be able to start when you say you're going to start, stop when you say you're going to stop, and do exactly what you plan to do within that time period, within that container. Focus. Now, if you're not sure what to do with this list of urges, thoughts, emotions, behaviors that come up in that hour and you don't know where to start or how you can even tackle these things, come along coaching with me and we will work you right out. Love you guys so much and I'll see you in my next one.